Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, August 8th. I'm Patricia Villone.
And I'm Denise Douglas. Thank you so much for joining us. A healthcare aide is headed to jail. Leslie Ariati stole thousands of dollars from an elderly couple in Clinton. According to court documents, she worked part-time for the victims starting in 2011. In 2013, she convinced them another aide was stealing and became the full-time caregiver. The couple's children noticed issues with their bank accounts last year and confronted Ariati. She confessed to stealing the money and was sentenced today.
Have one, and what she did in this incident. Certainly anyone who steals from our seniors, certainly those who are dealing with health challenges and other issues when they're supposed to be caring for them, if they steal from them, that's something we're not going to let go without a punishment.
Ariati has been ordered to pay $50,000 in restitution. She paid $10,000 of that in court today.
With students preparing to go back to school in just a couple of weeks, the Maryland Center for School Safety holds its annual conference. About 250 school resource officers, psychologists, and administrators gathered in Annapolis to talk about best practices. Speakers included Michelle Gay. She's the mother of one of the victims of the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre in Newtown, Connecticut. 20 kids and 6 adults were gunned down in that attack. Organizers say they continue to learn from each conference.
Our school emergency and safety preparedness drills on a regular basis challenges ourselves to make sure we're doing a better job. But more importantly, the relationships between our school police officers, our school resource officers, our school administrators, but even more so with our students in the building.
We've done a great job in Prince George's County. We've installed a lot of electronic equipment. We do continuous drills. We do continuous training. But you can always get better. I don't want to ever say, okay, we've already hit our plateau. We've always got work to do.
And day 2 of the conference gets underway tomorrow.
A police officer for the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission reportedly shot someone for breaking into his Laurel home. Officers have arrested the suspect, 31-year-old David Bartholomew. According to investigators, the incident happened in the 8000 block of Briarcroft Lane. The alleged intruder sustained non-life-threatening injuries. He has been charged with several counts of things, including home invasion. The officer was not injured.
Attorney General Brian Frosh announces a settlement with Barclays Bank for fraudulent and anti-competitive conduct. The action stems from the manipulation of LIBOR, a benchmark interest rate that has a widespread impact on global markets and consumers. Now, Frosh says the conduct hurt government agencies and not-for-profit agencies in Maryland and across the nation. The investigation was conducted by 43 state attorneys general. Well, last week, Governor Larry Hogan cited declining revenues in his decision to not fund priorities in education and public safety. Now lawmakers are joining the Maryland State Education Association and the ACLU, calling on Hogan to withhold funding for private schools. Hogan had set aside $5 million for private school vouchers in the fiscal year 2017 budget. Meantime, the governor referred to officials in the teachers union as thugs on Facebook. And now members are comparing Hogan to Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. This is the second year the governor has decided to withhold school funding.
Meanwhile, the governor did announce funding, $3 million, in fact, of grant funding to help fight the heroin epidemic in Maryland. More than $930,000 will go toward funding a drug coordinator in law enforcement agencies in every region of the state. More than $2 million will go to 9 jurisdictions to continue the Safe Streets Initiative, a program that tracks down and arrests the most serious and violent repeat offenders. Those who struggle with substance abuse are connected to treatment, health care, and other services. The funding fulfills 2 key recommendations of the state's Heroin and Opiate Emergency Task Force.
The recent flash flood in Ellicott City that left 2 people dead and caused massive destruction has left many wondering if the same scenario could be repeated in other historic areas. Now, some environmentalists and lawmakers say there are many stormwater management systems that need updating to handle an increasing population.
The dam that's at the headwaters of the Patuxent, they've opened it several times because that dam was built for water supply purposes, not for flood control purposes. So it was designed in such a way that it's not really ready to handle huge amounts of water in short periods of time. When it gets too much, it can endanger the dam. The dam could burst. So instead they they let water out on like 1 hour's notice. We had a homeless man who was sleeping in the woods who died because nobody told him they were going to open the dam.
There's a lot of contributing factors actually to the overall storm drain systems. The infrastructure, some of it might be dated. They are typically designed for 10-year storm events. Beyond that, it's just not a cost to benefit ratio to increase or expand them beyond that level of design. But we're always looking for ways to improve the storm drain infrastructure and update those areas that are needed.
And Senator Roosevelt adds that the state has implemented several new regulations meant to improve Maryland's stormwater management practices. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Villone.
And I'm Denise Douglas.